Few times in anime does an ending so eloquently and profoundly crescendo its themes as Maid Dragon did. Despite all the silly hijinks and comedy bits, at its core, Maid Dragon is a story about family, how it changes you and why it's worth having. Our protagonist Kobayashi is a woman working as a programmer in Tokyo. She's lived alone and went through life mundanely. She isn't portrayed as happy or unhappy, just existing. Her apartment is a mess and she was living the brutal life of a Japanese worker. Long hours and expected drinking sessions, leaving little time to maintain her small apartment. As an audience, we are brought along for the transformation of her life. Before Kobayashi realizes it, she's built a family, and the central narrative's moments of poignancy revolve around her realizing that, wondering how she got to where she is. It's in great direction in the juxtaposition of shot parallels where we see this most vividly. We are shown these things more often than we're told. Take the first episode where Kobayashi is leaving her home and going to work. She has her back turned to her apartment and is leaving in the literal dark, alone. We get a similar cut a few episodes later as Kobayashi is once again going to work, but this time it's different. The room is lit up and she's saying goodbye to someone. There is something to return home to. She isn't leaving the house alone either. Kanna is right next to her, ready to go to school. And it's these subtleties that animate the changes in Kobayashi's life. She has built a family and her days had a vibrancy that they never had before. Her house was clean and she always had someone to cook for her. She wasn't alone. Toru took care of her and Kanna. They were all a family, and when Kobayashi loses this stability, does she truly realize what she lost? And to contextualize this loss, Maid Dragon showed us how Kobayashi lived, and it allows for a juxtaposition between what her life was and what it became. We're introduced to Kobayashi, we get shots of her messy apartment in the background. Stacked books and boxes clutter the living space. Once her family begins to form, Kobayashi realizes that they need more space, and she moves them into a bigger apartment. The stacked books are now neatly arranged, and the boxes that once lined the walls of her apartment were now furniture. These changes are subtle, but they're indicative of her ever-evolving life. She is now seen as a mother figure to Kanna. Duties were bestowed on her that she didn't have before, like taking Kanna shopping for school, helping with homework, and being present for her big moments. These are things that shape Kobayashi's role as a mother, and they are my favorite parts of Maid Dragon. When Kobayashi learns to be a parent to someone who isn't even her child. Parenting isn't only being a caretaker and a provider. Sometimes the most important thing to do is just to love, to be there. And this is something Kobayashi had to learn. The lesson is best shown in episode 8, when Kanna wants Kobayashi to attend her undokai. Kobayashi has a work deadline and told Kanna that she couldn't go, and for the first time all show, we see Kanna visibly upset and disappointed. Kobayashi tells her to take Toru, but Kanna wants Kobayashi to go, because she feels that Kobayashi is her mother and all her classmates are taking their parents. This is a connection point we can make because we can understand both sides. Kobayashi has a deadline at work to meet, and Kanna is still a child, so having her family there to watch her in the undokai is important to her. There is a disconnect. Kanna is upset, and Kobayashi doesn't understand why this is important to Kanna. And what I love about Maid Dragon is the agency it gives her characters to help them learn. The day after Kobayashi tells Kanna she can't go to work, Kanna goes to spy on her. Kanna sees how hard Kobayashi is working and how important she is to her company. Kanna is beginning to understand. For the sake of Kobayashi, she tells her that it's okay if she doesn't go to the undokai. And it's visible how upset Kanna is by this. But she tries to understand why this had to be done, and she does. And it's here where Kobayashi realizes what's most important. And just to borrow her words, it's that she doesn't have to go, but that she ought to go. Kobayashi makes the sacrifice of working longer hours to finish in time to be with Kanna. And when she finally tells Kanna that she can attend, the reaction is grand. With a smile, a hug, and an I love you. And this is what Maid Dragon wants to tell us. That family is for those moments. That these moments make up the sum of our lives. That this is worth it. The episode ends with Kanna, Toru, and Lokuo wanting to play more as Kobayashi reflects on where her life has taken her. She makes the point that her life has really changed and wonders when did this really happen. And the scene closes as Kobayashi looks at the three getting excited with a wry smile, showing us how content she really is. That despite all the hard work and headache, that this is indeed worth it. It's why the final episode is so great, because it brings all these ideas together and gives the series a conclusion it's deserved. In the beginning of the episode, Riko and Kanna find a shepherd's purse flower, and the girls learn that the flower's meaning is "I'll offer you everything." And this is an ingenious way to frame the themes of not only this episode, but series. I'll offer everything to you. That's what families do, and this is ultimately the final lesson that Kobayashi and Toru need to learn. And as the episode progresses, Toru leaves the human world, and what follows her exit is what I believe to be the most brilliant scene in Maid Dragon. Kanna comes home from seeing Toru leave with the Emperor's demise and has to break the news to Kobayashi. Maid Dragon is filled with beautiful and vibrant colors, which fits the variegated, fun, and rewarding life that Kobayashi is now living. So when she learns where Toru went, the scene is overwhelmed with washed colors, and the glowing saturation of her life is suddenly gone. There is no music, just Kobayashi looking shocked, confused, and almost panicked, holding her head trying to process what the hell just happened. The family that they formed, the family that she cherished, was now broken, and it happened so suddenly. And what's to come is Kyoani at its best. The very next cut is of Kobayashi frantically running around in the morning trying to get herself and Kanna ready for the day. She forgot to wake up Kanna for school because Toru always did that, and is now scrambling around the house to make herself and Kanna breakfast. She's clearly not used to doing any of this, and the imbalance is evident. Kobayashi doesn't even know how to warm milk for Kanna without dropping it. When she's having her coffee, she makes a disgusted face, as previously Toru was bragging about how good her coffee making skills got. Toru's absence is felt, and the family dynamic that was once prevalent throughout the series was gone. Life moves on, and Kobayashi doesn't even have time to be sad. She still has to take care of Kanna, and she still has to work. And this is a sad, sad reality, that for a lot of us we can't even pause our lives to reflect and mourn. More often than not, we're swept away in the process of society. As time passes, we get brilliant wide and overhead shots that show the mess of Kobayashi's apartment. Reminiscent to her pre-Toru life, Kanna is also spending nights at Riko's house because of how demanding Kobayashi's work schedule got. We even see how this affects Kanna as well, how when going to sleep she wants to cuddle with Riko because of how heavy this is on her. No gag or joke on Riko's infatuation with Kanna, just a soft, silent moment where Kanna is vulnerable. And the genius in all this is that none of it is expressed with words. All the aforementioned is shown visually through smart cuts and good directing. We're taken through Kobayashi and Kanna's days without Toru, and we could see for ourselves what changed. What's important to note is that Kobayashi doesn't cease being a mother. She still comes home to feed Kanna, albeit non-home cooked. She still gets her ready for school and even teaches her how to make rice. And interlaced in this montage are shots of the shepherd's purse that Riko gave Kanna, sitting in a small vase, slowly wilting, fighting to live. "I'll offer you everything" still rings true. This is what family does, no matter the circumstance. When Toru ultimately returns, we get real agency from both her and Kobayashi. They want to be together, and Toru expresses her desire to be Kobayashi's maid, and Kobayashi, for the first time all series, speaks up in a way that's assertive. The Kobayashi we met in episode 1 wouldn't do any of this. She simply didn't have anything in her life worth doing this for. And this is conclusively the transformation that she's made, into someone who's willing to fight for what she loves. And this is almost allegorical, with Toru and Kobayashi fighting against societal norms to be with each other, with Toru's father representing the Japanese societal norms that govern so many. And this speaks to the dynamic of their family. Toru, Kobayashi, and Kanna are by no means a traditional family, but they perform the roles of one. Kobayashi being the provider, Toru being the domesticated, goofy wife, and Kanna being their daughter. While the roles fit snugly into the construction of a Japanese family, the actors do not. Not only are Kanna and Toru dragons, but the two parental units are of the same sex. It's because of their unique makeup do we really get to see them for what they are: a family. Often in Maid Dragon, the idea is reinforced that family doesn't have to be blood, and it asks a question about what family truly is. Kanna and Toru are estranged from their biological families, and when we hear about either of their families, it typically deals in pejoratives. We also see Kobayashi have the same apathy to her biological family as she does for most things in her life. And that's just who she is, and she's expressed that to Toru before. But it's powerful to see that the family that she's built solicits the most passionate responses. Going the extra mile for Kanna, her stunned reaction to Toru leaving and the frantic race for the door when she comes back, and standing up to a dragon called the Emperor of Demise. That despite Kanna and Toru not being human, despite them all having other families, and despite that Toru and Kobayashi are both women, they are a family. A family that loves each other, a family that learns for each other, and most importantly, a family that would offer everything to each other. Hi everyone, welcome to Subtitled. I'm Chakala Navas, and I didn't do one of these end of video things before because I wanted to get the channel out so badly that I never really did one of these. So I set up a little display page, and I have a link to my last video, which was my HBK Euphonium video, which I really hope you guys check out. And I really want to thank everyone for subscribing and already commenting and all that stuff. Like, it really means a lot. Like, I just started this channel just to gas back about anime. I do a sports podcast. I do the Heat Beat podcast, if you can see that on my shirt. You can check that out at MIA Heat Beat if you like sports and the Miami Heat and basketball. You can also follow me at social media at GNavas103 for my personal. There's some sports stuff there, and if you're into that, and then my normal anime account, Subtitled Anime, at Subtitled Anime. So I really appreciate everyone's support. Please check out the Yuko video and continue on this channel, because we're going to do a lot of fun stuff like what this Maid Dragon video was and all that. So really, I hope you enjoy, and thank you so much.